A predictable end to a very good half from the Broncos, but we come into 104.3 The Fans halftime chill presented by Coors Light, feeling awful because of what just happened in the closing moments. So many positives, but we got to start with the end. You give Melvin Gordon the football. I've been saying cutting him for months. I've written article after article after article. He fumbles. They're lucky to recover it, and then Brandon McManus gets his field goal blocked. Talk about sucking the air out of the stadium, James Marilat. This is inexcusable.
Oh, I mean, well, first of all, deja vu all over again. Here we are doing halftime chill. 10 points. 10 points. Tell me if you've heard this before. Here we are again. It's amazing. But yeah, guys, this should be 17-7, right? They've had the ball 3 times. We'd be talking about how 3 drives, 3 scores, even with the field goal, 3 drives, 3 scores. Clint Kubiak doing a really good job of mixing it up. So many positives. But sorry, Nathaniel Hackett, this is on you. You insist on playing Melvin Gordon when everybody on the air, in writing, in the stands, at the coffee shop where I do my polls, everybody says he should be gone. You insist on playing Melvin Gordon, and here you go. Now, they recovered the fumble, but he had the first down, right? It would have been 1st and goal from the 1 with 20 seconds left, a couple of timeouts. You probably are going to get in. It's inexcusable, Will. If they lose this game, and we were talking about it behind the scenes before we came on, all right, if they lose the game, is Nathaniel Hackett going to get fired? I don't know. It depends on how you lose the game. If you lose the game now because you didn't get any points before half because you played Melvin Gordon again, then yes, you get fired. Nathaniel Hackett is officially now have 30 minutes to save his job because 25 put the ball on the field again. It's inexcusable. I mean, at some point, it's not Melvin's fault. It's the guy who keeps putting him out there. It's his fault. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I would not tie my future if I was Nathaniel Hackett to Melvin Gordon's ability to hold on to a football. And what's even more strange, and Will, you've brought this up for like 3 weeks in a row, Latavius Murray runs the ball well every time he's given a chance. I understand that he might not be the best pass catching back, and Chase Edmonds is in there for that, and he's hurt. So, it's a 3rd down. Maybe give them the guy that can do both things. But you're running on that play. You needed to run some time out. Like, that was a clear and obvious running situation. And the Broncos have been running the ball well today. And there are so many positives, as James has mentioned. There are so many positives. There is no way that this should not be showing up in the scoreboard and it should be 10-7 right now. Like, it is a shame right now that this game is 10-7. This should not be a 10-7 game. And the Raiders are actively trying to lose this game. Like, they are making dumb mistakes. This Broncos team is befuddling. It has been since week 1, actually since training camp.
Well, and one of the big positives, guys, Russell Wilson's played great. He really has. Like, and that's not a term I throw around loosely, but he has. I mean, what's he, like 12 of 14? The play he made there when he was getting hit and still made the throw, coincidentally, to Melvin Gordon, just an amazing play. Really was. And that turned what would have been a 3rd and 15 into a 3rd and 4. They got the first down and kept the drive alive. He had the run where he got the penalty on Max Crosby. Like, that maybe is the biggest positive, is like, Russell Wilson's looked great. The back shoulder throw to Cortland Sutton, all these things we should be talking about. But poorly coached football teams beat themselves. And what just happened at the end of the first half was strictly the result of a poorly coached football team. By the way, Dwayne Stukes, hey, stop calling reporters idiotic until you get your house in order, because here we are again, a big special teams blunder by the Broncos. I mean, guys, at some point you're at a loss for words of how to describe what you see on a weekly basis from this team. It's amazing.
Yeah, this game started at 2:05 and was positive for the most part until about 3:26. And then, again, it's just a total buzzkill going into half. The boos were really loud. I tweeted it. Boo Melvin Gordon out of the stadium. Boo Nathaniel Hackett out of the stadium. Boo George Payton out of the stadium, because he's let this happen too. Like, this is absurd that they're only up 10-7 because of what we just witnessed. And to Jake's point, who scored the first touchdown? Latavius Murray. He's proven he's a good goal line back. He should have been in there. I will be shocked if we see Melvin Gordon the rest of the way. But then again, maybe I shouldn't be shocked because they just give the guy chance after chance after chance.
You know, we're talking.
I will be shocked if the first play of the second half, he's not the running back. I will be shocked. Now, if you were running the team, or Jake was running the team, or I was running the team, or any of the people watching this show were running the team, he would not be. But Nathaniel Hackett, there's no repercussions, no consequences, no accountability for anything. I will be shocked if he finally gets benched for making a mistake. And look, guys fumble, mistakes happen. Had that been Latavius Murray or Chase Edmonds that fumbled, you're not going to boo him off the field. But when it's a guy who's done it over and over and over again, and we're all sitting there and everybody watching is sitting there and we're watching it on TV, and every time they give the ball to Melvin Gordon, what are we all thinking? He's going to fumble. Right. And it happens. And that's why it's so frustrating. That's why you want to boo, is like we all can see it coming except for the one guy who can do something to prevent it other than Melvin Gordon. And that's Nathaniel Hackett. Put him on the sidelines. Put him on the bench. Like, unless Latavius Murray gets hurt, he would not enter the game again for me if I was the head coach of the Broncos. It's inexcusable.
Yeah, part of me wonders, with us talking about guys that probably need to head out of town, like Nathaniel Hackett. We've gone back and forth on George Payton, obviously Melvin Gordon. Part of me wonders when this discussion starts on Cortland Sutton and Brandon McManus. Like, Cortland Sutton, I think, has dropped a pass 5 straight weeks in a row. He is clearly not a number 1 receiving target. I've been saying since the start of the season that Russell Wilson just does not have great weapons around him, and that's become abundantly clear. Brandon McManus, I think, has been a non-factor mostly for the Broncos this season, and that's a chip shot field goal. That should be one that you throw high into the sky, and that has no chance of being blocked. And I mean, it's shorter than an extra point. So, I just wonder when we start having these conversations move down the line a little bit on some other guys, and I think we will in the offseason.
Jake, I think they need to broom everyone, right? Anybody that's been associated with the stink of the last 6 years, I'm fine with getting rid of all of them.
And James, to your point real quick, you talked about this on Coffee Break earlier this week, talked about guys that aren't winners and not making winning plays. You see all over the field, there's guys not making winning plays.
Correct.
Yeah.
No doubt. And look, do I think Draymond Jones is a really good player? I do. But his 15-yard penalty that turned into a kickoff from the 50, and you wound up starting that drive at the 14-yard line, was a big play. That's not a winning play. Now, part of that's an undisciplined football team. And again, it's probably a ticky-tack call, but you can't always blame the refs for that kind of stuff. 3 weeks in a row, Kareem Jackson's given up a touchdown. 3 weeks in a row. If the touchdown early against Jacksonville, the touchdown last week, and then today, I'm assuming Pat Surtain thought Kareem was going to help him on that because Pat Surtain was coasting in his coverage. What is Kareem Jackson just gets in the middle of that, gets named a captain. The things that this team does. But you're right, Jake. We need to start asking those questions about absolutely everyone on this roster. Nobody from Russell Wilson and Justin Simmons on down should be somebody that we look at and say, oh, yeah, you can't live without them. They don't have guys that make winning plays. They just don't.
All right, guys. So we obviously are all in foul moods because of what happened in the final few moments. But we have a few minutes left in halftime chill. So I do want to kind of talk about the positives, what I was hoping we were going to talk the whole show about. But that's so Broncos to put us in this position. But the offense just looks more fluid, right? Like, it doesn't look so stuck in the mud and discombobulated. They're moving the football up and down the field. And is it as simple as, and I think the answer is yes, but Jake, I'll start with you. Is it as simple as Clint Kubiak's now calling the plays and Nathaniel Hackett, the stink of Nathaniel Hackett, is finally out of the way?
I think there's one big thing that we've overlooked. It's that Clint Kubiak is just simply got a different view of things going on the field. He is up above in the box, and he is in Russell Wilson's ear until there's 15 seconds left on the play clock. And I think that's allowing the Broncos to be a little bit more organized and Russ to know where guys are. And the play calls are certainly better, but I think that factor alone is helping the Broncos offense a lot because, James, you've coached a lot of football. It is really hard, and I've been down on NFL sidelines. It is really hard to figure out what the heck is going on down there. So if you've just simply got that above view, I feel like you've got a huge advantage, and I think that's helping the Broncos today.
Oh, no doubt. I think that's a great point. I think it allows you, even on plays that work or plays that don't work, it allows you to see, wow, this was open. We could have gone to this, right? You don't see that when you're down on the sideline. You're essentially watching the ball, and you're not able to see the entire field. I think that's been a big advantage for the Broncos. They just have more rhythm. Plays seem to set up the next play, right? And if you're not thinking about every single decision and you're just trying to, put the cards in order, I think that also is making it easier for Clint Kubiak. I thought he did a terrific job in the first half. They should have had 3 drives, scored on all 3, and had 17 points. At worst, they should have had 13 points. Clearly, that was a good decision, and that was a positive. And look, I'm going to give Nathaniel Hackett credit for it. And we can say he did it it's too little, too late, and they should have done this after the bye, and that's a fair point. But guys, we've all seen coaches, whatever the sport, that are stubborn to a fault. And the more you get people like us yelling that they should do something, the more they dig in their heels. Case in point, the previous head coach, right? So let's give Nathaniel Hackett credit for, it took him 9 weeks. Should he maybe seen this at the get-go? Yeah, but 1, he made the hard decision, and 2, he gave it to the right guy and jumped his buddy Justin Alton and gave it to Clint Kubiak. I think he deserves credit for that move.
All right, the Raiders have moved the football, particularly Devontae Adams. He's close to 100 yards in that first half. James, you mentioned the touchdown where Surtain, again, I agree with you. I think he was going to have help from Jackson, and it never came. But what can this defense do to get some 3 and outs in the second half? Because, James, you said it, the Broncos offense only had the ball 3 times because the Raiders had long, sustained drives, even though they only have 7 points. It's going to be key for them, particularly with Adams and also with Josh Jacobs, to get off the field in the second half.
Yeah, I think they need to bring some pressure. I mean, Derek Carr's one of those guys. He can move a little bit, but he doesn't scare you with his feet. So I thought their most success, they brought Josie Jewell, they brought Alex Singleton. They were, when they were bringing heat and bringing some blitzes, that was when they had the most success. So, yeah, I think they got to come after him. I think you just got to take your chances and say, hey, we got arguably the best cornerback in football out here. We're going to maybe take away some of his help because we're bringing heat. But I think that's what you got to do. You got to get him off the field. It's a little bit, and I know it sounds funny because they only scored 7 points, but they missed the field goal. They punted on another one that they probably should have tried. They were just trying to keep their streak intact, which the football gods got him on that one because then he missed the next kick. So really, they had 3 possessions that should have been scores as well. You got to force the issue. You got to get him off the field. You got to bring pressure.
Jake, any quick thoughts? We'll give you the last word here, about 15 seconds.
They've been so good at getting the Raiders out of field goal territory. It almost happened twice. I say bring the pressure as well, and they've got to find a way to stop the run game like they did last week in the first half against Derrick Henry.
No doubt. For James Merrillat, Jake Shapiro, I'm Will Peterson. Second half is starting. Thanks so much for tuning in to 104.3 The Fans Halftime Chill, presented by Coors Light. We'll see you post-game.